Alright, so we're doing the fuel consumption analysis on these two Scag V-Rides. One's a 48-inch carburetor, the other one's a 52-inch EFI. What we did is fill them both up. We're going to just run them till they run dry to see which one, carburetor versus EFI. They say EFI is better than carburetor, so we're going to test that and see, you know, real life how it works. Both of them cut short grass, both of them cut tall grass. So we just grab the gas can. We're going to fill up this 52-inch EFI. It just went dry. We'll flip it around in just a second and show you. But we've got the hours on the phone, and then we're going to take these hours again before we fill it up, and we'll see how many hours that mower went. And then the 48, it's still running, so maybe we don't use it as much as this 52, so maybe that's why. But I personally think that the carburetor does better than the EFI, but we'll see. So here's the 52 EFI. We use it on this one because, like I say, this grass is crazy tall. And I will say that with it being EFI, that it will have more power than the carburetor for sure. So that's kind of why I think this one's drinking a lot more gas. But we're going to test that. We'll see what it does, how it goes. But you see, the gauge is completely empty. The hours are 1182 and a half. So we're going to put that in here in a minute, and we'll put this in it, keep going. We'll wait for the 48 to run dry, and then we'll be able to compare them. So later today, 48 finally ran out, the carburetor motor. So we're going to fill it up, get it back up the truck. We'll grab the hours off of it, we'll compare. Just a quick glance at it. The carburetor motor uses a lot less gas than the EFI, but we're gonna run those numbers, make sure we're not wrong. We'll show you on paper, hey, these are the hours at fill up, hours when it run out. They both hold 8.5 gallons, so we'll see how that goes. So we're at the mower now, so we're gonna get this thing filled up and back up to the truck. So here we're at the mower, completely out. We've got 433.2 hours. So let's get it filled up and figure it all out. So here are the numbers for the fuel efficiency on the 48-inch carburetor and the 52 EFI. The 48-inch carburetor, we filled this mower up at 423.8 hours on the machine, and it ran out of fuel at 433.2 hours. So that comes out to be a total of 9.4 hours we put on the machine, and it used 8.5 gallons. Alright, so we used 8.5 gallons and 9.4 hours. So what that comes out to be is 0.904 gallons an hour. It's how much that carburetor motor used pulling the 48-inch deck on a V-Ride 2. Then we go to the 52-inch EFI. This mower had 1,175.8 hours on the machine when we filled it up, and then it shut off at 1,182.5 hours. So that machine, it used all 8.5 gallons in 6.7 hours. It used the 8.5 gallons. Alright. And then, so this one, it cut using 1.269 gallons an hour. So these are both Scag V-Ride 2s, carburetor, fuel injection. Yes, this one has a smaller deck, so it's not pulling as much in grass. Both these mowers cut tall grass, wet grass, short grass, everything. They both cut the same amount. They're on the jobs the same. But the only difference is when this EFI motor starts bogging down, it's going to open the fuel injectors up and it's going to leave a better cut than the 48, and it's not going to bog down. So your per man hour efficiency goes up. But this test, what we were doing today, was just over fuel efficiency. So if you had these two mowers side by side and the grass was short, dry, and you didn't have to do a second cut for anything, you know, just perfect conditions, this one would be by far more efficient than the EFI motor. I say, you know, they kind of advertise that EFI do better fuel efficiency. Not really the case when you start breaking it down and start looking at it. This one's almost 30% more fuel. We can figure out the difference, but I'll say it's about 30% more fuel to run this machine over a 48 inch. And I say, yes, it's bigger, but you're talking about less than 10% bigger on your deck size. So, you know, if it was like, okay, well, yes, this one's a 691V and this one's a 730. So they do different sizes, but they actually run the same amount of cubic centimeters. The CC on the motor is actually the same on these two. It's just this one's toned up more to make more power, and the EFI, you know, uses a lot more fuel when it starts pulling, where the carburetor can't do that. So for fuel efficiency, the carburetor is by far the way to go, especially right now. Gas is like $4 a gallon and diesel is like $5.50. So you start putting that into perspective, you're going through 10 gallons in each mower a day, and then you take 30%. Well, if you lower two mowers, you know, 10 gallons, 30% less, that's 3 gallons. With two mowers, that's 6 gallons. That's $24 a day that you're saving by running a carburetor right now over the EFI. So normally, you know, gas isn't that expensive. You're not saving a huge amount of money, I'll say, but these EFIs are nice. They do run better. They keep up with about any demand you put on them. If you have 3-4 foot tall grass and it's wet, your EFI is going to be the way to go, because it's just going to, one pass will basically get you good. The carburetor, you'll be doing 2, so then you double your fuel basically, then you do save. But on a regular perfect condition, the carburetor is kind of the way to go. That's what we found here in North Georgia. You know, you might be in Florida or up north somewhere and you get different results. Great, I'll say, but here in Georgia, the carburetors are doing better than the EFI.